Good morning, everybody. I'm coming to you from the floor of my living room. And noise in the background is Braveheart. Um, I posted last night on my Facebook that I was hoping that I would get you guys an update last night when I got to work. I was busy enough last night that I just didn't get to it. I ended up going into work really easy because I just recently got a new phone about a month ago. I have a Samsung, or the Galaxy Nexus by Samsung, and it is a great phone. It's running Android 4.0, and I absolutely love it. The only problem is the particular phone I got apparently has an internal um, antenna issue. So, um, even though every once in a while it looks like that, and I have 4G network, and it looks like it's, about as strong as it should be, as soon as I try to place a call, it'll drop, and it'll say that I have lost signal and stuff. Or it'll do that, and I'll wait for the signal to come back, and I'll be able to actually make a call out, and I'll get on the phone with somebody, and a couple seconds later, it's cutting off. So I couldn't get a hold of Verizon last night from home here because my husband worked a double yesterday. He went in yesterday afternoon at 4 rather than going in at 11 like he typically does. And because all I had was my phone, which wouldn't let me call out, I had to go to work so that I could use the phone at work and call to get the situation handled, because this has been going on for about a month now since I got the phone. And lately it's just been getting worse and worse. And I got really peed off last night about it because trying to call, steadily drop calls. Like, I probably had like 15 drop calls trying to get this, situated last night and stuff and handled before I went to work and did it. And couldn't get through, so I decided I'll go on Verizon.com, on VerizonWireless.com, and I'll get somebody there to try and help transfer me to the network, or to, technical support and stuff network. And I got a hold of somebody, and she, immediately comes on, and I tell her what's going on, and she was like, well, you need to call such and such, and I said, yeah. Like I said, I'm not getting signal right now. Oh, well, you're just going to have that problem because the Verizon network is going crazy right now because we're getting all the updates done to the network so that the iPhone 5 can come out. They're ready for the iPhone 5 release. And I'm thinking, I don't give a good god dang about the iPhone 4 or the iPhone 5, whatever. Obviously, I don't care because I don't know. It could be iPhone 20 for all I care. I don't like Apple products. I'm not a big fan of Apple products. Apple products are not wonderful. You constantly see, especially with the iPhones, people, you drop it like 5 inches onto your counter and the screen shatters. Yeah, that's a phone I want. Like, people pay more for the Apple name than they do for a quality product, I believe. I'm just not a fan of them, and so the fact that she basically told me that I just have to suffer with crappy network right now because of this phone's release coming out just ticked me off more. So I ended up going into work and using the phone there to see if I could get the situation worked out and handled and everything, obviously. So got the situation all handled, and then, I don't know, it was probably about 15-20 minutes before I had to be clocked in for work anyway and stuff. And so, I was just busy from, even before my shift started at work. So I just really didn't get a chance to record this update last night at work like I was kind of hoping to. But what my great news is from yesterday is, some of you know, some of you don't. I had 2 other children in my previous marriage with my ex-husband, and he was very abusive, And so in the process of um, ending that relationship and getting away from him, I put my children into a guardianship situation, basically to keep them out of his reach, and also so that it was it would be easier for me to get myself back on my feet so that I could be a proper mother for them. And doing that, getting myself back on my feet, took a lot longer than what I was expecting. My ex-husband had helped dig me into such a deep hole. It took me a long time to find myself again. I had met my ex-husband when I was 17 and was with him for almost 5 years. Um, had 3 pregnancies, 2 children with him. The first pregnancy was triplets that we miscarried. Then my daughter was born. Then I got pregnant with my son and his twin, and that was the beginning of the end finally with us. He had beat me up really, really bad on Mother's Day while I was pregnant with my son. It was almost a month after I found out I was pregnant with him. I would have been, I think I was almost 12 weeks along, if not 12 weeks along. And he beat me up really, really bad, and I ended up miscarrying my son's twin. Um, Thankfully, obviously my son made it. So fast forward a few years and everything, the kids are in their guardianship. I've met my husband now, who I'm with, and I'm I'm wrestling more and more with myself on what I felt I needed to do with my kids. I wanted my kids back, obviously. But want and need are 2 different things. Their father had put me and them through a lot, and as a result, my daughter was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder at 2 and is still getting counseling and everything for all of it. Like, it has just been insanity and everything. Um, so in November of 2009, my husband, at that time, we were just engaged. He was getting ready to deploy and go to Afghanistan, and I told him that I had decided that I was going to go ahead and sign an adoption with the family that my kids were in guardianship with. It's a very secure family. The father is an attorney in my hometown. The mother is a teacher. They had 1 biological child of their own, but were unable to conceive any more children. And they came in contact with my kids while my kids were with my grandparents at the beginning. Since my grandparents raised me, that's who I originally placed the guardianship with. And my daughter is about the same age as their daughter, and they were going to free school together at our YMCA. And that's where the family came in contact. They started becoming attached to the kids. My grandparents were letting the kids stay the night with them all the time, and they were just really, really helping my grandparents out because my grandparents were getting to be too old to be taking care of a toddler and a newborn. And so they started helping out a lot, and I eventually ended up transferring the guardianship from my grandparents to them, and working with them. And then on down the line, about another 3 years later almost, was when I finally decided that it was time to end the guardianship, and I opted for an open adoption. So I get to see them when I go home for visits. The adoption agreement is twice a year, and I get updates 4 times a year. And lately, I mean, just my busy life and their busy life, updates don't always happen that time, but pretty much any time I contact them and request an update, they get back to me within a couple of days with an update. So the other day I called and said I'd like an update and stuff, and yesterday I got an update. And it was absolutely wonderful, filled with pictures and just all kinds of news about them. My kids are doing wonderful. My daughter will be 10 in December. My son will be 7 in December. They're born 2 days apart. My son was born 2 days after my daughter's third birthday. And the gist of the letter was just things that they've been doing, activities that they've been doing this summer and stuff, trips that they've taken. They went to Notre Dame, which the father of the family graduated from Notre Dame, and they're Catholics, so obviously Notre Dame's a big thing for them. My daughter had her first Holy Communion. My son's reading all the time. They've found out that my son has ADHD, and I found that out in the last update that I got. But they're finding other ways to cope with it. I believe he's medicated, but they have him very, very lowly medicated because they try to just handle it as naturally as they possibly can. My daughter plays piano as well as her sister. They both play piano. They both sew. They're both Girl Scouts. My son just joined the Cub Scouts and has his first meeting coming up. And they said that he is so proud about it and just cannot wait. The mom helped him sew his first patch on his uniform and everything. And after they finished that, he hung it up all neat and sweet up in his closet, and then sat down and read her the entire Cub Scout manual from cover to cover. So my son already knows all the ins and outs of everything to do with Cub Scout. He knows their pledge, he knows their salute, he knows their handshake. He's got it all down. My daughter, with her piano, they said that it just comes very easy to her. She passes all of her piano lessons with barely any practice. Artistically, she's inclined. She does the sewing. I mean, they said that pretty much anything both of my kids pursue to do, they excel at and, overbound with it. And I was enjoying reading the message yesterday and everything after I got it, and I'm reading through it, and the main thing that popped out to me, I had a reading done by Sherry, and a lot of you have heard this before and everything, and part of the reading I had asked Sherry about my kids and, what my daughter and what my son were going to do as they got older and everything, and she predicted that she was seeing that my daughter had a very kind, nurturing, needing, soul, and that she would end up using that and go into a medical field and would most likely become a doctor of some sort. Well, in that message, and it just broke me, and my husband didn't know how to react, but I don't know if he was scared that he thought I was really, really upset at first, but it was one of the first honest to God confirmations that I have gotten out of Sherry's reading, with her saying my daughter wanted to be a doctor. And obviously this is something I've not mentioned to the family. I'm getting choked up thinking about it. But in the message it said that my daughter Rose, already not even 10 years old yet, her dream is that she is going to be a doctor, and she is going to specialize in the obstetrics and gynecology field, and that's what she wants to be. And instantly, as soon as I read that, I was like, my reading, that's what Sherry predicted. And it just blew my mind. And so obviously it adds to my hope with that reading that is tying along with my newest reading now, that I got for my birthday, that gave me a new date for our babies that she was seeing. But like, you guys can't imagine the kind of relief that this message brought me yesterday. Like, it was the best thing. I would share pictures if I could. Um, it's at the family's request in their privacy that I don't share the pictures online or anything. And I fully, completely respect that and understand that. And I agree with it because of the fact of their father. We are all doing our best to continue keeping him at an arm's length. The only pictures I have of my kids on my main Facebook is old pictures from when they were still with me before the adoption went through. Everything from like adoption on, I don't share. Um, I well, there might be like one or two, but they're pictures that my friends had taken and stuff and sent to me and whatever. It's not they're not like exclusive family photos and stuff like the ones that they send me in my private emails. But like I think the adoption is something that I'm I'm happy about it. Like, I'm really, really proud that I made the decision to do what I did, because everything that I want for my children and everything that I dreamed that I was going to be able to give to them at that time, I couldn't get it for them. And it would have been years before I would have been able to. I mean, I'm still years away from being able to give them everything that they're getting now. Um, but like, I'm so happy that they're getting that life now. And my kids are happy where they're at. Um, with the guardianship, uh, I didn't so much choose to do it for anybody but my kids or the kids. Obviously, since the two of them had, my kids and their daughter had been together for so long, they had grown attached to each other and were like real siblings. And the closer that it got towards the, guardianship being closed, the more anxiety problems their daughter was having and things like that. Because she was just scared that her brother and sister were going to be taken away from her one day. And then my kids were just so settled. They had the most secure, settled life that they had had since they were born, just because of the things that their father did. I mean, it was constantly a yo-yo with their relationship because he cheated and beat on me so much. And he had such control that I really didn't have any choice but to keep going back. Um, and that's something that a lot of people, unless they've been in an abusive, situation, they really don't understand. And I had a best friend growing up who, for a really, really long time, was really angry and mad at me for the way that I kept going back to him. But then she ended up in a similar relationship, not quite as severe, and it opened her eyes. She realized what was going on. She understood it. When there is children involved, it does make it a lot harder. But I finally got it together and got away from him and everything, thank God, and everything, and it's been great. When the adoption started going around, the family waited to tell my kids at first because they were still nervous that I was going to back out of it because they knew how badly I really, really wanted my kids back. But once it was coming up that it was about to be finalized, they did tell my daughter about it. And when they finished telling her, Emily said, the mother said that my daughter just started crying, but she could tell that it was happy crying. And Emily had asked her, why are you upset? She said, I'm not upset. She said, I'm happy. She said, I'm just so happy to know that my mommy loves me that much to let me stay with you and dad. And like that there, and my daughter was only like 6 or 7 at that time. So, I mean, to have that kind of knowledge and just, I mean, it was just such maturity beyond her years to see it that way, um, is more than I can appreciate. And that's what gets me through from day to day. Anytime I start feeling bad about the adoption or second guessing um, the choice that I made, just her response like that is what makes me confident in knowing that I did do the right thing. Now, I know there's going to be some of you women out there who don't agree. Yes, I am in the TTC network and my kids have been adopted by somebody else, but situation considered, that's what needed to be done. Um, and with TTC now, the hardest thing I fight with is my children are mixed. My ex-husband was black, and my husband now is white. So my kids are going to be white, and am scared that when my older kids meet my kids with my husband now, meet their half siblings, that at that point they might find, they might be kind of spiteful and feel as though um, they weren't good enough for me or something. And that's that's the only thing I really, really fight with. I like going through so many ways to try and figure out how to make sure that they know and understand that everything I did was solely out of love for them and my desire to protect them and keep them safe and all of that, and nothing to do with them as children. They're absolutely brilliant, beautiful children, and I have to say I am kind of jealous of the adoptive parents that they're not in my custody growing and learning and everything like they are now, but they still have half my genes and they still get a lot of their personality and their creativity and stuff like that. I know does come from me in some parts, and I can't help but be proud of them and everything they do. And the family is very open with them about the adoption. I mean, obviously they were older babies when they were adopted, so I mean they had been with me. They knew me as their mom, um, and so they have had questions from the beginning and whatever else, and the family is very open. And like I said, I get to see them and stuff, so they still know who I am. They still know me as mom. They don't always call me mom because of the fact that I, I'm not their full-time mom, but they do refer to me as mom occasionally. Um, but they have a new mom and dad, and the understanding that we're giving them is that not only do they have a mom, one mom and dad, they have two moms and dads who love them very, very much. Moms and dads being me and their adoptive mom, and my husband and their adoptive father. Um, and I want them to, continue to grow up knowing that they were just too special for one family to have. They had to be shared with many. Um, so I don't know. Things are just good yesterday. Also, on top of that, payday was yesterday from work, so I was able to get some more things. And some of those things was I got my inositol, inositol, however you say it. I was able to get those off of Amazon. and I have them coming. They should arrive Monday, as well as 50 Wanda Faux, 50 Wanda Faux ovulation strips and 20 HPT tests. So I am all ready for this next cycle, and really, really hoping that I see Sherry's predictions come true. But I was able to get that, and that should be coming on Monday and everything, so I should be seeing that soon. And I'm just really excited. I'm ready to get through the rest of this weekend. I've got the next 2 days off, and I work Sunday morning, so I'll be missing church now. But everything else is really good. Like, a lot of stuff with life is really, really starting to pick up. I have continued taking supplements that I've been on, the prenatals, the folic acid, the super vitamin B complex. I've got vitamin C, my vitamin D3 5000 IUs. I take 2 of those a day, or 500 IUs, 1000 IUs. I don't know. They're like the highest that I can get. I think they're 5,000. I take 2 of those a day, whatever they are. I just got off work. Like I said, I worked last night. And then I've also got my evening premise oil, which when I made my update a little while ago, I had just started taking it, and I wasn't sure, what effects it was having on me or not. What it is doing so far, it is making a drastic change in my CM. My CM has been flawless, beautiful, like amazing. I had like 1 or 2 days of like watery consistency CM, and then it was egg white up till last night. It was still egg white. So it's been like 5 or 6 days of egg white cervical mucus right in the middle of my fertile period. So we've been using Soft Cup, and probably tonight or tomorrow I will get my ovulation confirmation on my OviQ, and I will be switching from the evening premise oil to flaxseed oil. The reason why I would be doing that is evening premise oil, there are chances that it can cause uterine contractions, and early on in pregnancy that can induce miscarriage. So they suggest that you switch to flaxseed oil, and flaxseed oil is actually safe to take throughout the entire pregnancy and stuff. I don't know if I would stay on flaxseed oil all the way through pregnancy once I have pregnancy confirmed, but I think I will try at least to stay on it through the first trimester. Most any of the supplements that I'm on, I'm going to try and taper off within the first trimester, I think, outside of my prenatals and my folic acid. And then I will probably be adding DHA once I confirm pregnancy. So yeah, that's really just everything that's going on. Things are good. This got really, really long, and I'm sorry. But the adoption is something that I've wanted to share with everybody for a while. And I knew it was going to be something long, and what I shared still isn't even everything with it. If I shared everything with it, it'd be way more than it'd take 3 days to upload the video. There's just so much content to it. So, what I've got going on today, I'll be going up to Talladega where my husband works at the county jail, picking him up from work. He drove up there himself last night, but I'll be picking him up, and we'll be driving on up to Oxford, which is like another 15-20 minutes past Talladega, so that we can do some errands up there. We live in a really, really small town where there is nothing here really except for Walmart and Piggly Wiggly's. Um, so anything we have to do, we pretty much have to go to Birmingham or to Oxford. We had been going to Birmingham most of the time that we had to do anything that required like big city stores, but I am getting sober now on like Birmingham traffic that I just don't want to do it anymore. So we've started going to Oxford, and one of the things that we're after, headed to Oxford tonight for, is pet food, for our non-fur baby. I don't know what to call her. We have a about a 2.5 foot uh, corn snake. She's like a gray color, but we need to get more mice for her. Uh, we have two female mice, and we had bought a male mouse, and they were supposed to be breeding, but best we can guess is we got a homosexual mouse because he is yet to get the females pregnant, and it's been like almost 2 months. So we're headed up and we're going to pick up some more frozen mice to feed the snake for the time being, and hopefully pick up another uh, adult male mouse, um, and see if we can't get that one to procreate with our females, um, so that we can produce our own food, because it's just way more cheap and cost effective to do it that way. We had a snake before, and that's how we fed Nateri. We bred our own mice and fed her ourselves. And it's just way easier, and it's kind of cool having the mice around too, because mice are interesting, just like the snake is. Um, but so we've got 3 mice at this time, 2 dogs, and a snake. And that is our family, and hopefully we will be adding a lovely baby to it soon. But yeah, I don't really know what else to share. I'd love to go get my snake, but it is feeding day, and it does get feisty on feeding day. So I tend not to handle it too much on feeding day. I'll handle it, all the way up to a day or two before feeding. But yeah, day that we, normally feed it, it is a very routine snake. And since it's not albino, its vision is way better. And because it is still a pretty young snake, they can be a little more nippy. We've not been bit. It's not struck or whatever. It's just the way that it'll coil if you go after it at the wrong time in the wrong way. So, and this is a snake that we bought from somebody else. The snake that we had before, we were the only owners. We bought it directly from the breeder, and I was just way more used to handling her, and whatever in this snake I'm still getting used to. And before us, they weren't handling it that much anymore. The people that we bought it from are younger adults that they just started getting a busy life and just couldn't give it the kind of attention they really want to give it, and have it out of the tank the way that they want it, and handle it as much as they want. And that's why we bought it. So um, I'm going to close this up because 33 minutes is really long. And I will see you all ladies later. If you guys don't watch this all the way through, I completely understand. But I'll talk to you guys later. Y'all have a good day, and hopefully it won't be a very long time before I make another video or two or so or whatever. Hopefully I can start doing it regularly again. But have fun, y'all. See ya.